Alright. So. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Nope.
Okay. So. We don't need all of these. We need this one. And this one. And of course. Ah! I mean. I got it. Okay, so first. I'm going to roll this one, the D4. 4. Okay, so I'm going to add 4 to whatever this roll is. And I know, for all you nerds and well-actuallys out there, this is not actually how you get the initiative roll. But we're improvising, okay? Now roll that. Okay, 1. Fuck you. I'm so sorry. So then we're going to... I mean, you still have a chance to win. We're going to roll initiative to see who starts. You have to beat a 13, so I did 9 plus 4, so you got to... Oh. 14 plus 1, so you get to start.
Hell yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to KOSO Film Review. We just saw a movie, which happens to be a part of our little shindig that we do here, called Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Starring the goddamn Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Reggie Jean Page, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, goddamn Hugh Grant, Chloe Coleman, Daisy Head. It is directed by, where's that guy at? He's
There's 2 of them.
Just 2 people? One of them's even got 3 names. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. So yeah,
yes.
we just saw this little number. Yeah, I did enough talking.
Yes. So, of course, this is based off the game created by Gary Gygax. Glenn has never played Dungeons & Dragons before. I have played a handful of times, and I really enjoy it. Wish I could play more, but I didn't start until I was 30 years old. So you know how that happens. You don't have much time when you're older. And this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, primarily because I really do like Dungeons & Dragons. And we have not gotten a good Dungeons & Dragons movie ever?
Question mark?
Question mark? There was one in 2000 that was awful. I remember watching it and I don't remember much of it. Your windshield wipers are going.
Are they really?
Yeah. Just wait for it. What? But yeah, so we got one in 2000 and that was horrible. This one was a lot of fun. It really felt like a game of Dungeons & Dragons that I've played with my friends. I'm only speaking for myself here. Obviously, I've only been a part of one campaign. Well, that's not obviously. I've only been a part of one campaign. And me and my friends just goof around with it. So it just kind of felt like that. If you are into more serious stories with Dungeons & Dragons, you probably won't like this one. I don't know anyone, though, who doesn't make jokes while playing Dungeons & Dragons. And if you do, what's wrong with you? But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. It had a lot of nods without being overbearing to, the game Dungeons and Dragons, fan service without it being like shoved in your face. And one thing I also enjoyed about it is that it wasn't like an end of the world thing where like the bad thing that was going to happen was not the end of the world. It was more like a heist movie for the most part. And I really appreciated that because especially in the superhero movie era that we're in right now, it feels like every movie's the end of the world, and it's really nice to not have that for once.
Yeah. I, however, have almost nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons.
That's fine.
I know about it. I know the gist of it. I've never participated.
You know what a mimic was?
I did know what a mimic was, but that's mainly because it's in Dark Souls. So, thank you, Dark Souls. But I've had plenty of chances to be a part of it. It's not my thing. I like hearing about it. I like listening to stories about it and how much fun people have, but I just don't think I would get into it.
It's a lot of fun.
Now that might change eventually. Somebody might caress my body into coercing into a little campaign of sorts.
Yes.
Roll me into that bitch. But until then, I had no expectations for this movie. The trailer was funny, and the cast seemed great, but I didn't have much expectations for it. I was prepared to be disappointed if it happened. But this movie is probably considering how many movies we've seen this year, this is probably one of the best so far that we've seen this year, in my humble opinion.
It's very humble.
And it's so humble. It's like seeping. It was hilarious. There was good action. It was charming. It was very creative. Just a genuine fun time. The cast seemed like they had fun during filming and on like the little press tour for it and everything. So it just seemed like just a genuine project that everybody around it enjoyed, and hopefully audiences as well. Because us two did. We were laughing fucking half the time at least. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of things in this will be enjoyed more if you do play Dungeons and Dragons. Although, as Glenn has proven, you don't have to like Dungeons and Dragons to enjoy it. However, to me, it felt, again, it might have to you because you're a video gamer, so you might have still felt that. But to me, obviously with this, Dungeons and Dragons is like a roll of the dice. You roll dice to, simulate luck and skill and all that. Of course, they couldn't have that in the movie, and that's been the biggest question for a lot of Dungeons and Dragons movies. At least probably to executives who are stupid and don't realize you don't need that. But you kind of really felt that with this, where you felt like there was risk anytime there was a fight. Obviously, with it being a action movie, the heroes were probably going to win. But it really did feel like while they were writing the script, they might have been like rolling dice to see like if something would work or not. And I really appreciated that because it really added an element of putting you in the game, kind of putting you in your imagination while you're playing the game with your friends. And that is something that I'm sure a lot of Dungeons & Dragons fans... Of course, I'm not the biggest Dungeons & Dragons fan. I want to remind people of that. So I could be completely wrong, but for me personally, it really did feel like it was putting you into the game aspect of it.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too.
Yeah.
And like just a lot of things throughout just the whole script. It just felt like there was somebody running and then roll, bad one. Oh, that guy just tripped. Or
it'd be really cool to find out if that's how they wrote it too.
It would have been really awesome.
Obviously, they probably had like the plot planned out, and if like for the ending they rolled a natural 1 or something, or critical failure. Then they probably would have been like, okay, let's roll it again and see what happens. Yeah. But it would have been cool to see if, like, for the smaller things, they're like, let's roll a dice, see what happens. Does anything happen to them while they run? Do they encounter anything? It would have been really cool to see that. And I'm sure if there's ever behind the scenes, we might find that out.
Who knows? And obviously, like, if they got a really bad one, they're probably like, oh, well, we could do that, or we could, like, finagle it to be around that number.
Yeah.
Be like, maybe. But, I mean, it really felt like it, even, like, if you aren't a D&D fan, it still felt like just a movie. Like, where, shit, that just happened. That's a plot point that might just happen at that point. Oh, this feels like a regular movie. But if to anybody who's at least a little bit of knowledgeable towards D&D and dice and all that, you're like, oh, they just rolled a fucking 4. Holy shit. Or a 20. Or just whipped out luck at his fat ass and giant lips on his small head.
Yeah. And they also, the characters in it also felt as creative as Dungeons & Dragons players are. They were put into a tough situation. There was an obvious solution. And when that didn't work, they thought of a different solution. Because that happens in the campaign I've been involved with. That happens a lot. Yeah. And it's honestly one of the best parts. So it was just a lot of fun. It didn't take itself too seriously, which I feel like the 2001 did. It tried to be too much like Lord of the Rings or whatever, even though it was before Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then this one just felt like a bunch of friends sitting around telling a story together. For people who aren't fans of the game, it might feel exposition heavy. But when you are a character playing this game, exploring the world, same goes for video games.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of exposition. So if you're willing to overlook that, I feel like as a non-D&D fan, you'll probably enjoy it. And it's really only exposition heavy in the beginning. It lightens up towards the middle and end.
And I feel like they balance it really well with the humor.
Absolutely.
And just chemistry with the characters. I feel like they do that really well.
Yeah.
It surprised me how well they did all of it, really.
Yeah. All the performances are great in it. The one thing I really liked is that it seemed like they tried to use practical effects when they could. Like there was a few dragonborn characters, and whatever the giant eagle creature is called. I know his name's like Jonathan or something in the movie, but I forget what that race of Jarathan. I forget what that race of creatures is called in the D&D world. But he was like a practical. No, it's like it begins with an A or something.
Something with an A.
But they used practical effects when they could, which I don't think this was a massive budget film. So it was cool to see that they did practical effects, because even when practical effects are not great, they're usually still better than CGI.
They still looked good in this. The CGI stuff too.
The worst thing was there was like a baby cat person.
Yeah.
And that was obviously an animatronic. But along with Rakakuni in Everything Everywhere All at Once, I appreciated that more than the CGI in Avatar, which is top tier CGI. And that's not just because I don't care for James Cameron. Like I legitimately prefer to see something I know is real than something that is fake. And so I just really appreciated the feeling of the film altogether. It felt more real. Obviously, there's some CGI in it, and it's not great CGI, but who cares? It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your parents to go see it. They'll be like, "What the hell is this whippersnapper?"
Show them that D&D is not satanic.
So anybody who's really kind of worried about this film, because it's D&D as a whole has kind of been blowing up a lot lately.
Still people that are worried about it?
The well actuallys. Sorry, if that's you, I apologize. But
I don't.
the well actuallys of it all. If you're worried about this film and that they're not going to take it seriously, and that it's not going to be good, and that just pop culture is kind of taking over your board game. So that feels fucked up to say.
It's a role-playing game. It's not a board game.
Role-playing game. This does a very good job. Yeah, let me somebody who's never played it tell you how
You're jock-splaining us, man.
Oh,
You're not a jock at all.
I could be in comparison. No, it's just a really good film. I think the family would love it. I think anybody who has a heart,
yes,
who's willing to roll the dice on life to see what they want to see,
yes,
will love it.
Yes, I thought you were going to go the satanic panic route. Because in the 80s, there's all when I was growing up, my parents thought D&D was satanic, and then they have since realized that is fucking stupid. And that it's just a bunch of nerds.
We aren't the Stranger Things town folk.
I gotta kill him!
They're goddamn devils!
Because someone died in his house!
What did they call it? It was the Devil's Club or something like in Stranger Things? I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever. I think this is overall, it's good for everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody enjoys it.
Don't be gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Don't be gatekeepers.
I think Chris Pratt announced in an interview that there's going to be a sequel already?
You mean Chris Pine?
That's what I said.
What do you mean from our last podcast?
Yeah, I don't know what the
Dave Stevens.
Dave Stevens. I can't believe
Chris Pine.
The best Chris.
Yeah, he is the best Chris.
I can't believe I just said he was Chris Pratt. I'm actually upset with myself for that.
It's okay.
I think he kind of announced already that there's going to be a sequel, so that'd be pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would be. I would love for this to be, because a lot of people who watch our videos know I'm not the biggest fan of franchises. Pretty much John Wick. Don't pay no attention to the wizard behind the curtain. But besides John Wick and the Knives Out trilogy, or it's only 2 right now, the Knives Out series, you pay no attention to this either. I don't really have franchises that I'm fans of, so I would love to have another franchise that I enjoy, and this seems like it would be one because I want more after watching this one.
Well, it would be cool with the cast, and it would also be cool if they changed the cast too, so it wouldn't be the same campaign. But also, I would like to see more of what this story just offered, if it wanted to. I
would like them to keep the core 4, core 5, or whatever, but also expand the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great first film for a Dungeons and Dragons series or franchise. I hope they continue with it. And I'm going to give this. I'm between a 4 and a 4.5. I want to say 4. Just because the beginning was a little slow, and I'll admit that. But once it gets going, it's really good. I feel like if the beginning was better, I would have it would have been a higher rating. But for now, I'm going to give it a 4.
I was mostly sticking with 4 for the whole time. There was points where I was wanting to give it a 4.5, but I don't think it reached just that grasp. But I think 4 is a solid fucking score for this regardless. Yeah. So it exceeded my expectations in every way, and I hope they have another, and I hope they blow my pants off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna kill you now.
Thank God.
All right, death saving throws. If you fail 3 times, you die. If you live 3 times, or you don't fail, here we go. That's an 8. That's a fail.
Oh shit.
That's a 15. That's a pass.
That's all right. Save me. I'm fucking.
No, two saves. One more. Come on. Oh, he lives! If you saw Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, tell us what you thought down below, and we will see you in the next one.
My shoulder hurts now.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's all right, I'm alive.
Oh, yeah.
Bye-bye.